17 years back, Assistant Inspector Sachin Vaze was suspended from Mumbai's police force. After being in the wilderness for all this time, on June 6, 2020, the now 48-year-old was suddenly reinstated back into the force. Not only was Vaze back, but he was also made head of the CIU, Crime Intelligence Unit, with 20 officers and 70 constables under him, and tasked with high-profile cases, including the arrests of Dilip Chhabria, Arnab Goswami, and the suicide case of Sushant Singh Rajput. But it was another high-profile case that opened this can of worms. Mansukh Hiren, an automobile parts dealer, had his office just across that of the police commissioner. And it was obvious that Vaze had some hold over him as he regularly borrowed his friend's grey-green Scorpio. Vaze had even used the car on official police work when he escorted Raigad police to arrest Arnab Goswami in November 2020. Encounter specialist Vinayak Shinde was a cop serving life in prison for his extrajudicial killing of Lakhan Bhaiya at the behest of his business rival. Out on parole now, he frequently visited his old buddy Vaze at his 4th floor office at the police HQ in South Mumbai's crowded Crawford Market. It is most likely that in one of those meetings, a plan was hatched. Accordingly, on the morning of February 17, 2021, Mansukh Hiren leaves his Thane home in his grey-green Scorpio heading towards his office, when he suddenly pulls up alongside the curb on a stretch along the Vikhroli highway. Leaving his car there, he then hails a taxi and goes to meet someone from the Crime Intelligence Unit at an undisclosed location and hands him his car keys. The next day, Hiren registers a complaint at Vikhroli police station.
My car broke down on the highway. When I later came back to repair it, it was stolen.
But actually the cop from the CIU unit who was given the keys had picked up the car and parked it at Vaze's Thane residence, where according to the NIA, it remained from February 17th to 24th. Then in the early hours of February 25th, around 0200 hours, 2 am, Vaze's personal driver took the Scorpio and left Thane. Along the way, an Innova car of the CIO unit joined them, driven by Vaze himself, making the approximately 42 kilometers journey to South Mumbai's Tony Carmichael Road, and specifically to Antilia, the 27-story home of India's richest man, Mukesh Ambani, parking the Scorpio at 0230 hours, 300 meters away from the residence of the intended target. The driver, wearing a PPE kit, got out of the Scorpio, climbed into the Innova, and immediately they drove away. Sometime after 3 am, the Innova was seen crossing the Mulund toll naka towards Thane, only to return a while later bearing a different number plate. It was Vaze who came back after 2 hours, this time wearing a kurta pajama and a handkerchief across his face, and placed a letter inside the Scorpio. In the morning, security officers at Antilia got alarmed. How come that car has the same number plate as Madam's vehicle? The ruffled security informed the police.
I want to report a suspicious-looking Scorpio car parked nearby since last night.
The traffic police arrived first and cracked open the window of the Scorpio, only to discover 20 gelatine sticks but no detonator, without which they couldn't explode. A letter inside explained why no detonator was attached.
This is just a trailer, Nita Bhabhi, Mukesh Bhaiya. Next time we will arm the explosives.
Further, 5 number plates that were the same as Nita Ambani's security cars were placed inside, as if to say they had studied their movements carefully. The threat was clear. This car bomb couldn't blow up the building. It wouldn't even cause any damage from that distance. But detonated precisely, it could blow up their convoy of vehicles when it passed the spot. Finally, the crack team arrived under, you guessed it, the very same Sachin Vaze, the plot's alleged mastermind, who for appearance's sake had brought along with him a bomb disposal and a canine squad. Officers of the CIU traced the Scorpio to Mansukh Hiren and called him in for questioning at Mumbai's Ghatkopar and Vikhroli police stations. Vaze himself interviewed Mansukh, and according to his wife,
"Give yourself up to police custody. I will solve the case and you will be out soon."
Then when the anti-terrorism squad ATS called Mansukh in for interrogation, he felt the matter slipping and appealed for help.
"I am being victimized and suffering harassment by the police and news reporters."
The case took a new turn when 2 days later, a message on Telegram claimed,
Ambanis will face dire consequences if they continue to support BJP and RSS and not pay us the money demanded earlier. Jaish ul Hind.
But the message was a plant, a ploy to take the case out of the hands of Mumbai police and hand it over to the NIA, as is the norm for all terrorist threats. Because the leader of the opposition, Devendra Fadnavis, had reason to suspect Sachin Vaze. In 2016, when Fadnavis was Chief Minister, he had received a call from his alliance partner Uddhav Thackeray.
I recommend you reinstate Sachin Vaze into the force.
And he'd even sent a few people over to convince him, but the Advocate General's oral advice stopped him from doing so.
Any attempt to reinstate Vaze would amount to a violation of the High Court directive.
Vaze, realizing he had little time before the NIA came in, then hatched a plan similar to the one that had got him suspended in 2003 over the custodial death of Khwaja Yunus, when the 27-year-old software engineer was arrested on suspicion in the 2002 bombing of a BEST bus in Mumbai's Ghatkopar. According to the police, Khwaja escaped from custody, fell into a gorge and died. But the widely believed unofficial version is that he was killed while still in custody and his body disposed of in the gorge. The day after Mansukh wrote the letter, Vaze, PI Sunil Mane and encounter specialist Vinayak Shinde had a 2-hour-long meeting.
Mansukh is spoiling our plans. We must take care of him.
So on the evening of March 4th, Mane, using a SIM card from Gujarat, called Mansukh.
Hello, कांदिवली ब्रांच मधून तावडे साहेब बोलतोय. If you want to get out of this mess, come and meet me at Ghodbandar Road.
Ghodbandar, or horse pot, were where horses from the Middle East landed in Bombay a century ago. Until 10 years back, this secluded highway was flanked by dense forests on one side and the Thane Creek on the other. Unknown to Hiren, it was also a favorite spot for encounter specialists to eliminate criminals. Devendra Fadnavis was the first one to have recognized his importance.
Mr. Mansukh Hiren should be provided protection. He is a key witness in the case.
But it was too late. Mane lured Hiren to Hotel Hillview on Ghodbandar Road on the pretext of helping him.
Taude Sahab is waiting for you.
As Mansukh Hiren got into the front seat to meet Taude, a chloroform handkerchief was put over him from behind. His hands were tied and he was thrown into the creek. Handkerchiefs were also stuffed in his mouth so that water would take time to seep in before his body finally floated. Though Vaze was present when the murder took place, in an attempt to establish an alibi, he left his mobile phone in his Crawford Market office so that his location would show him far from the scene of crime. But a CCTV grab captured him walking 3 kilometers away near BT station, from where he bought the handkerchiefs and allegedly took a Central Line train to Kalwa. The deed done, Vaze later returned to his Crawford Market office and conducted a raid at a hotel in Dongri between 11:45 pm and 1:30 am the same night, writing a nil panchnama, something never done as panchnamas are made only when illegal items are found. This was yet another effort to hide his whereabouts that night. The following night at around 10:30 pm, Mansukh's mud-caked body was found from the marshes adjacent to the Thane Creek. Republic TV published a taped transcript of a conversation between Mansukh Hiren and his brother Vinod.
Sachin Vaze has asked me not to mention anywhere that he was using the Scorpio.
Mansukh Hiren's wife Kamla squarely blamed the investigation officer for her husband's murder.
Sachin Vaze killed my husband because he refused to get arrested for a crime he did not commit.
Soon, Vaze's tainted history, including the reasons for his 2004 suspension, was out in the open. He was one of the original group of Mumbai's so-called encounter specialists, alongside Pradeep Sharma and Daya Nayak, with 63 encounters to his name. So how could it be that a suspended police officer who rejoined the force not even a year ago becomes so powerful?
Vaze was virtually number 2 in the Mumbai police after the police commissioner because of his political connections.
He allegedly reported directly to the police commissioner Parambir Singh, bypassing 4 senior officers in the crime branch, reportedly having tea with him every day. With the Mumbai police discredited, the NIA took over the Ambani case while ATS began investigations into Mansukh Hiren's murder. They soon recovered 4 foreign cars Vaze used, including a Mercedes ML250 parked in a public lot nearby. In it was 5 lakhs cash and a currency counting machine. Vaze even had a sweet book for himself for 100 days under the name of Sudesh Khamkar, probably another person he had some hold over. and apparently had extorted 30 lakhs from BARC executives to protect themselves from harassment at the hands of the Mumbai police. 5 days later, the NIA grilled Vaze and Nitin Alaknure, the Assistant Commissioner of Police, for close to 13 hours. While Vaze remained tight-lipped initially, he did confess that it was his encounter specialist buddy Pradeep Sharma who had allegedly acquired the gelatine sticks. Vaze's attempt to destroy CCTV footage, data dumps or DRVs was assigned to his close-eyed Assistant Police Inspector Riaz Qazi.
Do it.
This also came to naught when they were fished out from the Thane Creek along with a license plate of a Maruti Eco van stolen a month earlier from Aurangabad, which Vaze was going to use as a prop and place inside 2 dead terrorists, who would later be gunned down and blamed for the whole plot. Vaze's motives are hazy, but it seems he created the whole conspiracy to prove his worth as an officer and be reinstated officially and at a high post, where once Mansukh Hiren was disposable. Vaze's updated WhatsApp status showed that he knew that it was now his turn to become disposable.
I think the time to say goodbye to the world is coming.
5 persons, including 3 serving police officers, have so far been arrested by the NIA. In a damage control measure, Parambir Singh, Mumbai's police commissioner, was shunted out to the Home Guards, who counter-attacked with a sensational allegation against Home Minister Anil Deshmukh.
He asked cops like me and Vaze to extract 100 crore per month from restaurants and bars.
More dirt soon tumbled out of the closet of the Mumbai police, when Rashmi Shukla of the State Intelligence Department submitted a cash for postings phone conversation, alleging some MVA ministers had taken money from police officers for plum postings. So far, Maharashtra's 3-party MVA government has managed to survive. But anything is possible, even Sachin Vaze walking free. Bisbo's limerick. What's become of the Mumbai cops? At one time, even over Scotland Yard they were tops. But a system in rot created a sensational plot. After paying their taxes, is this what the citizens got? Do join Bisbo on Discord and follow us on Instagram at GoBisbo. Subscribe to Bisbo and click on the bell icon to get notified whenever Bisbo releases a new video. Sources of all our information is listed in the video description section.